You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon radio show, where I am live and direct and broadcasting from an actual free state in Nome, Idaho. I am this guy. I am your conservative Sherpa. And what the conservative Sherpa does is he guides you through the insidious maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies and chaos and deceit and bedlam and tyranny and stuff like that there. That's me. So thank you for being here tonight. Please note what you're about to hear consists of my opinion and my opinion only for the next 2 hours, maybe an hour, hour and a half, kind of depends. Things changed around here. I am doing the job that the American media maggots won't. I am fundamentally changing America one leftist diaper at a time. I'm here to remind you that we don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversations. We are still serving these stiff drinks, and this is hard to hold. I'll tell you about that in a second. We're still serving stiff drinks right here in the saloon, along with facts and history and logic and rationality and proportion and context and tradition and clarity and common sense for normal people like you and me. So, politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here in the saloon where the speech is free, but the booze is not. I'm streaming live right now. Oh, God. I gotta put that down. On a whole bunch of different places, including here and here and here and here. And here, look at all those places that I'm streaming live right now. See, now you can actually look at them. Also, I want to say thanks to KLRN's Rick Robinson. Please don't tax the Rick for co-streaming the show on KLRN Radio. KLRN Radio, by the way, that's KLRN Radio. And what do we not want to do? We don't want to tax the Rick. If that isn't obvious, I don't know what is. Okay, this started out as it was going to be a show, heavy sigh, about, on America's 250th anniversary, what happened to our morals? Where did they go? Did we even have any? And if we did, what did they look like? So that was the original show. And then at the last second, I didn't get to really prepare much for the show. Mrs. BZ was not feeling very well. And then on top of that, we had a whole bunch of different arrangements that we had to make since Jake passed away. And that's our kid, Jake. He passed away on May 27th at the age of 12. Really, he went from 30 pounds to 9.7 pounds. And since then, we have been putting out many, many, many different applications for other rescue dogs because we finally came to a decision that we're going to handle Jake like we handled Angus. And when Angus passed away, we went out and probably 5 days later, we were looking at another rescue dog. And then we put in probably 10 plus applications for new rescue dogs. There weren't any around here except huge, big dogs, because North Idaho, What kind of a dog is required in North Idaho? Not a smaller dog, but a big dog. Because what do people do around here? They hunt, they fish, they boat. They take their dogs with them when they hunt, when they fish, when they boat on the water. And so a lot of the dogs that were here were 50, 60, 70-pound dogs or more. Well, folks, it should come as no shock to you. I'm not that terribly far from 80. And so at my ripe, advanced, clotted age, I can't be lifting a 50-pound dog or a 60-pound dog or an 80-pound dog into a car that happens to be sick. So since Jake, our beloved little boy, passed away 2.5 weeks ago. Oh my God, it seems like yesterday. How weird. But since he passed away, we have put out 10, 15, probably close to 20 applications for a rescue dog. Now, folks, I got to tell you, for the next 2 hours, don't expect this show to make much sense, because everything happened at the last second. We're trying to figure things out. Mrs. Beasy isn't feeling well. There's people it's one of those things where maybe before I acknowledge all the people that are in chat right now, and there's a ton and I appreciate it. It turns out 2026 is like this. And this week is like this. This year is like this. And it's similar to what is going on with this year. All I'm seeing are people dying, people passing away, pets passing away, relatives, friends passing away, all kinds of crazy stuff that do nothing but create tension and mayhem and anxiety. And my guess is you're probably in there somewhere with that mess, because I know I am. Well, it turns out by Friday, we may know if we have a line on a dog, a rescue dog. I have a photograph. I'm this weird. I keep thinking, okay, Beasy, if you put up the photograph, it's a great dog. It's a cute dog. I'm sure you'd love to see it, but I don't want to jinx that. Okay, that's just some of the crazy crap that flows through my brain these days. I don't think that I have a friend or an acquaintance or someone that works in podcasting. And I don't mean just SHR or KLRN. I mean lots of people who aren't going through their own massive amount of trials and tribulations. Is it just 26? Is it the water? Is it the air? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yesterday, I had the show lined up, ready to go. Let's just say a whole bunch of other things occurred in the interim. And not just with news, but all sorts of stuff. And that show, I kicked to the crapper. I'm not doing that. Show is not a show I'm doing today. So I kind of had to start all over. And with all the rest of the things that were transpiring in my life today, I had about 2 hours to put a show together because I was otherwise doing other things, otherwise occupied. And my mind, I have to admit, hasn't been here today or for the past week or so, ever since this little Joomer passed away. And so This is an entirely new show that I had to cobble together in about 2 hours. For me, that borders on heretical. I customarily take a day to try to assemble a show. And I don't know. I'm here to present it. We'll just see how well things go. One of the other things I want to put out there is I received this. Let me lean in and show you what I just recently got from Seven Armors. And here we go. Like I say at the end of the show, tiaras by My Little Pony. Well, here's tonight's tiara. As you can see, it's a 250th year hat. And it's from Earl Jackson. It's from Mission Ready Men. And so you can shop Seven Armors. You can go to his site, Mission Ready Men. And here's a t-shirt, the likes of which I have a copy of myself, which says Christian, straight male, unwoke, unvaxxed, gun owner, meat eater. How else can I offend you today? That's part and parcel of my job. So anyway, you can go to Seven Armors and shop his stuff. There's a bunch of it. I mean, it goes, the links will be in Rumble. As I've said before, all the links to the show will be in Rumble. Well, there's Earl's stuff. And then there is the SHR Media Shop. And in the SHR Media Shop, I'm sorry, you can't find this cool hat, but it is in Seven Armors, and you can find it there. Well, BZ, do you customarily start a show with pumping out merch? Well, sometimes yes and no. The reason I got to do that is because Earl Jackson from Mission Ready Men Briefing preceded me on YouTube. And if you're not watching Mission Ready Men, presented by Earl Jackson at the SHR Media YouTube channel, you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. He had a wonderful show tonight. And so in honor of Earl, I had to wear this hat and just let you know that if you want a hat similar to this or all sorts of great SHR Media merch, which does not include this shirt, I'm colorblind, so I'm not sure. What the hell would you call this shirt? Anybody that's in chat, because I'll get to you in a moment. What color shirt is this? I'm colorblind. I'm thinking orange, pumpkin, pink, red. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there, and you guys can wrestle and wonder what it is. Anyway, the Phantom is in chat. And let's see, Rowdy Rick Robinson is in chat. And he says quite correctly, no tax to Rick. Smiling Dog is in chat. Thanks for being here. Boyd is in chat. Thank you for being here. And Bad Karma throws some bad karma at BZ and says, well, it's most likely your lipids. Well, luckily, my lipids are on my facets, below my noses, and above my beardeds. So thanks for that. Rowdy Rick says orange. Okay. All right. If my camera is accurate, then I'll go with orange. So this is not the show your father told you that you would be having tonight, which is just kind of weird. Nevertheless, thanks for tuning in. Also, we're going to have some election stuff coming up. And now Red State says live results. There are 4 states that are having primaries. And there's Maine. Let's see. In Maine, of course, we know all about the Nazi, Plattner. In Nevada, Republican Governor Joe Lombardo faces challengers. In South Carolina, I think a part of that is already sewn up. So Maine, Nevada, North Dakota, South Carolina, they're all having election results tonight. Now, whether I have the wherewithal to be able to get back to them because I'm kind of a moron, I will try. I will try to do that. Oh, I do have this update. For those of you who love him or those of you who hate him, apparently Lindsey Graham is winning bigly, basically twice the votes. So Lindsey Graham wins the South Carolina primary over 245,000 votes to a guy named Mark Lynch, never heard of him, 119,000 votes. Thomas Dismukes, 21,000 votes. That's sad, dude. You may be disabusing me of Dismukes, but sadly, maybe, I don't know, not a good day for you. And Rick Robinson said, I would have said pumpkin, but I would have been afraid that'd have been a round boy joke, simply because I resemble that remark. Here's something else before we get into the meat of the matter. A lot of the things that I changed, and let me say this. KLRN and SHR have a ton of shows, a ton of great shows. And you go to watch those individuals because I don't present the same show that Earl does, or Rick does, or Sean does, or Lyle does, or Jersey Joe. We all do different shows. Part of what I do, because if for no other reason, then my concentration is pretty much gone these days. But I go back to say that I show you a lot of articles, mostly, especially tonight, videos, which are there to prove a point or an allegation or a theorem that I'm postulating and throwing out into the ozone for you. And I go back to saying, I don't make any of this stuff up. I don't need to make any of this stuff up. I just bring the articles and the videos to you by way of the internet that most of the American media maggots refuse to do because they come with a massive bias. If I can, I'll get to that again tonight. But the gist of this show is when people say to others, okay, well, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? What have you got? Let's see the proof. Let's see the articles. Or is current these days, show me, deme la receipts. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly that. And with this show also as well. For news, and I have to be honest, I'm not interested in doing any openings or audio or stuff like that like I customarily do. It's been a wild and wacky day. I hope you'll excuse me for that. But here's the story. Trump says U.S. must respond after confirming Iran shot down an Apache helicopter. You may or may not have heard that. The two pilots, because it's a tandem helicopter, one sits up front, the gunner, and the pilot sits in the rear on the Apache, was shot down. The two inside are fine. However, saying that, there's more. So, show new updates. No. U.S. strikes. And Trump says that stuff will not go unanswered. So we're striking. Now, there isn't a whole lot of information on the internet that I can determine right now that we are striking Iran back. But let me go, since this happens to be Tuesday, and God damn it, Jim, I should have been up and putting this on the top of the page. So look at the top of the page right there, and you'll see today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday night. It's June 9th. Year of our Lord 2026. And on America's 250th anniversary, where is our moral compass? I'll kind of get to that. I will. But I'm seeing a lot of things, perhaps, about Iran derailed by a couple of other things that occurred today with a particular verdict. And so, since I can't find much information on what's occurring with regard to the U.S. and with regard to Iraq right now, because I customarily have a session of that, or a sector which deals with Epic Fury updates. I guess technically you could say we're done with Epic Fury. I would very much like to see Trump go back to Epic Fury. As I've said, and I'm not speaking out of turn or church or anywhere else, or the 4 hubcaps on my car, by saying, I wish Trump had gone in and finished the damn job. And pull the blinders and the cage off of Bibi Netanyahu and let him go in and ruin Lebanon, and let him go in and ruin Iran. Just let him go. And then follow it up and decimate everything. I mean, I've said it before. No other president is going to do what Trump has done. And in no other time will we ever have this great amount, the number of assets available in the region as we do now. I watched a movie last night about D-Day, Pressure. Excellent movie, highly recommended. How did we get to D-Day? Eisenhower was in a crunch. Do I go on June 4th, which is when he wanted to go? No, the meteorologist, a British dude, said, no, don't recommend it. He listened to the guy and he was right. But the pressure was the pressure on the shoulders of Eisenhower to coordinate never before seen numbers of assets about to assault the shores of France. And the assets are present now. The American assets are present in the Gulf. And Trump, if you don't do this right now, you will have pissed away all of this for nothing. That's a further story for another day, is all I can say. But we had this occur today, and I have no other choice but to go with this, because we're seeing with this the verdict for Carmelo Anthony came in today. And that verdict, for those of you who keep your finger on the pulse of news, was guilty, murder. And way too many people, leftists, went absolutely insensate. They went inchoate, and they were all outside. And there were videos aplenty recording this stuff, this stupid stuff. So Carmelo Anthony, who shivved a white kid at a school because the kid touched him, or maybe at worst pushed him, killed a kid. Now, in any other day, any other time, white against white, this was a no-go show. This should have been, it was cut and dried, kid killed kid. And then in many, oh no, I can't even say that anymore. In any number of potential courts, in logical courts, this case would have seen summary judgment. But no, it couldn't, because it was all about race. It took place in Texas. Earl Jackson from the Mission Ready Men briefing went into that. And there were certain aspects of it that, if I can hope to paraphrase Earl a bit, and I'm taking a little bit of a liberty, and if I am, I apologize to you, Earl. But Earl is tired of this crap. Now, let me state unequivocally, Earl is an infinitely better man than I will ever be. first acknowledged, oh, BZ, you must be a great Christian. You're wearing a cross. No, you know what this cross means? All this cross means to me, it means a lot more, but what it does to me or for me is it's here to remind me, not you, that I should try. I should try to be a better man. Earl most definitely is. I admit it. If I'm half the man Earl is, I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. But even Earl was getting tired of all this crap. So Carmelo Anthony today in Collin County was sentenced to 35 years. He's eligible for parole in 17 years. In some ways, this case went as a lot of people would think it should and would have gone. In some ways, I have to be, I'm wondering, I'm questioning, I'm a little leery. And yet we still have to deal with these comments. I was watching Fox and I was watching Newsmax and OAN because I don't give a crap for the American media maggots. And Brooke Taylor, who was on site covering it, was listening to people and various blacks, because leftists are into race. And if they are, me too. If it's of grave import to you, it's of grave import to me. And I'll point fingers whenever they're applicable. Blacks, leftist blacks outside the courthouse on the street said, quote, from Brooke Taylor, those twins, meaning the murdered Austin Metcalf and his brother, Hunter Metcalf, are domestic racist terrorists. Process that. Go ahead. I dare you attempt to process that. Austin Metcalf is dead. Shivved by Carmelo Anthony. Found guilty of murder today. Sentence, 35 years. Parole, possibly half, 17 years or thereabouts. So the dead kid is a domestic racist terrorist. You know, said all the black racists outside the courtroom. Oh, BZ, you're so judgmental. Let's see. 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, what did Tyrus happen to say on Gutfeld? What he said is, in general today, blacks are the most racist people in the United States. Well, hey, truth. Oh, but you can't say that, BZ. You know me. I don't give a shit what you think about me. And I couldn't care less what label you throw out at me. Because, like water off a duck's back, it is completely, entirely ineffective. I'm going to have to take a break. And this is, by the way, let me take this off here so that you can see. I'm going to embiggen myself. This is the SHR Combat Mug, of which I will be drinking during the break. This thing weighs about 75 pounds. My understanding is that it's made of U-238 and metal mined I don't know. In Novosibirsk, next to the Typhoon submarines, okay, great. I just sent a drop of that off into my keyboard. Okay. All right. I'll tell you, folks, I'm BZ, taking 1 or 20 for the team. I'll be right back.
Conservative media
Lordy.
done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Listen in to the Reaver of Common Sense, where we cut through the noise of news and politics with a show equipped for bombast. Tune in Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Pacific, featuring a refreshing dose of reality. Jersey Joe fearlessly tackles the tough topics with no nonsense. Just pure common sense. Visit shrmedia.com, where you can hear the Reaver of Common Sense in action. He may not always be polite. He may not always be refined. But one thing's for sure. He always tells it like it is.
Are you looking for a way to boldly express your faith and love for your country? Then check out Seven Armors, the premier apparel company for patriotic men of God, where faith meets freedom in style. Our t-shirts are more than just clothing, they're statements. Bold, stylish, and meaningful. From timeless messages to modern designs, we've got something for every patriotic man of God. Wear your beliefs proudly with Seven Armors gear. Don't miss the chance to wear your faith and freedom on your sleeve. Visit 7armors.com today and join the movement. That's the number 7armors.com. 7armors.com. Faithful, vigilant, steadfast, passion.
Are you looking for bold, honest conversation about the issues shaping America? Well, let me welcome you to Unleashed 101 with Jeremy Hansen, where we take you beyond the headlines. We dive into politics and culture, the struggles of everyday life. It's raw, real, and unfiltered. If you're ready for truth with a punch, pull up a chair and join us. That's right, Unleashed 101, where real talk feels like home. Find us at unleashed101.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. We look forward to seeing you. Unleashed 101 with Jeremy Hansen.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
First half hour in the can. Thanks to everyone for being here tonight. Welcome back. You can watch the show on Rumble and X and shrmedia.com and the SHR Media YouTube channel and the Stentorian and Euphonious KLRN, our plush, sumptuous, and palatial and resplendent chat room awaits just you. And also, while you're on Rumble or the SHR YouTube channel, click on live chat to enter. There are a bunch of great chatterebuses in there, chatters who are chattering away. Chatter, this is dating. Oh, this will date. No one will get this. Chatter, what's the matter with you? Now, remember, you need to subscribe. And I want to put this up on the screen, Erebus. which says this. If you would, please subscribe. We have 1,570 plus subscribers to the SHR Media channel. And I remind everyone, remindingly, that every subscription gets me either a porcelain Dalmatian or hopefully more vodka, potato water. Except this is, I think this is Norwegian potato water because it's Kettle One. Or maybe I've got the country wrong. It's Tuvarich. It doesn't matter. It's not Russian potato water. By the way, one thing I discovered is that in terms of, remember Stoli used to be a thing? Stolishnya. Russian potato water. So there I was going into my neighborhood Idaho package store. And I went back because that's where the vodka is, way in the back. And I'm looking around. No Stoli. What the hell? Well, little did I know, Stoli went bankrupt. I didn't know that. By the way, in terms of vodka and drinking and beverages, etc., I need to tell you that your mileage may vary. Member FDIC, batteries not included, no leak to basement, patent pending. I like long walks off a short pier and dogs. So welcome back to the show. I put this on. We were talking about the verdict today, Carmelo Anthony, and the report is this. And again, this link, this story will be up on the Rumble side of my show. All the links to all the junk that I talked to you about tonight will be there, just to let everybody know. And the other thing is, damn it, Earl. Earl gets all the good stuff because he comes on before me. So Earl kicks my ass every time in terms of numbers on YouTube. God bless him. Good for him because he works hard for that. And like I say, dude is a good man. But he gets to show some. So in order to try to compete with Earl, I got to access more stuff. More stupid stuff. Dare I say more racist stuff? Because with regard to Carmelo Anthony, the old staid Democrat poverty pimps and racist pimps came out, as I indicated in the first half hour. Hey, the kid that was killed was a domestic racist terrorist. Okay. What? Okay, so here's a dude named Dominique Alexander, and he reacts after Carmelo Anthony is convicted of murder. And his conclusion, I'll let him tell you in his own words. But his conclusion is, in Collin County, in Texas, Black lives don't matter. And how are you drawing this, by the way?
I speak on behalf of myself, Minister Dominique Alexander. I speak on behalf of myself as president of the Next Generation Action Network. The Next Generation Action Network wanted to respect this process, to be able to make sure that nobody said that the Next Generation Action Network obstructed this process.
What is that?
Interfered in this process. But what this process did is shown that Black lives do not matter in Collin County. It showed us that time and time in American history, it has shown us to remove emotions from yet the law. This trial showed that it put emotions over the law.
Wait. The only reason you are out there right now is to fan the flames of all the emotions of the people in front of you who apparently don't understand how the court system works. Now, let me see if perhaps I'll go on with this guy, or maybe I won't. let me go and state something which everyone knew back in 2020, but no one could say, or you would be eliminated, especially if you were all white, dude or dudette. And Earl said it. Earl is a conservative. Earl is black. To me, his melanin count and his paint job doesn't mean shit. But to all the leftists, that's all that counts and all that matters. And I will have lots of people talking tonight on both sides. And Earl said, hey, you know, my take is back in 2020, you had a Minneapolis PD officer who was trying to restrain a criminal on fentanyl, and he was complying by all the departmental guidelines at the time, and he got convicted of murder. The dude who died was a thug. And yet, ... and yet,
After Trayvon Martin and so many countless names.
Trayvon Martin, why don't we dredge up this again in a stand your ground state, Florida? Because remember, Obama said Trayvon could have been my son. You know, the uniter, no, the divider, Obama, comma, Barack Hussein, one each.
It has shown us that black life is not safe in Collin County.
Excuse me, sir, comma, you black leftist racist, comma, you're full of shit.
It showed us that they did not listen to the law. It showed clearly that a judge interfered in this process. It showed very clearly that a black boy was allowed not one black soul on a jury.
How'd you like to go through life like that? I think I've heard enough of this bastard. But how'd you like to go through life like him, where everything you see, everything you do, every molecule of air you breathe has to do with race? Doesn't that get tedious after a while? Doesn't that get boring after a while? Doesn't it get both tedious and boring and perhaps a lot more? It sure as hell would with me if all I went on was white, 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 white. But leftists make it about color, so I have to answer in color and I have to address color, don't I? So here are some black leftist racists that are out in the street saying this, because I wanted to make sure that you heard this tonight. Here's the other thing, like I say, I do my show for me. Now, if you enjoy it, that's great. But I archive these shows to make me remember so that I have the ability to grok the concept of what was the temper of the time on today's date. This is the temper of the time. All of this is the temper of the time. And this is for me to immure, to display for you. And as everybody who knows me, I'm a tech moron. I'm a techno-Luddite. I could no more create this crap for you than the man in the moon. I'm lucky to get up in the morning.
I forgot, and the twin brother would have been with him. Fuck you saying?
They should have both been arrested.
They both should have been dead. The both.
Okay, they should have both been arrested. The white boy who was stabbed and dead, he should have been arrested. Both should have been arrested. Carmelo Anthony and the kid that was dead should have been arrested.
Both of them should have been dead. You ask me? Don't record me. I asked you not to record me.
I'm gonna continue to ask. You know, can you please, anybody, allow any of this to make sense? This makes no sense to me. Well, BZ, let's continue, shall we?
That's how we're supposed to know how to act around white people. What the fuck is that? What's for? What is that? What is self-defense? Is self-defense not somebody touching you that you don't want touching you and you defending yourself?
Okay, you're hearing this with me, right? Because I'm damn near deaf, but even I'm getting this. The rationale here is if a white boy touches a black kid, high school age, and this is the justification for shanking and killing the white boy. Or should I be getting something different out of this? If I am, please tell me.
What is self-defense? Murder.
Self-defense. Okay. Many of the witnesses said that Carmelo Anthony was touched. Some said he was pushed. Whether he was touched or pushed, that's worth killing him, isn't it?
Hold on. The same guy that saved the life. The same guy that saved the life.
Okay, I'm here to show you tonight what racist leftist blacks look like. And like me, are you not getting fucking tired of these assholes? Are you not getting black racist fatigue? I am. With luck, you are too. Go.
Austin mother, as a mother to motherfucking mother, you seen that woman on the motherfucking news crying. You know damn well Carmelo did not try to kill your son. He wanted to defend himself. Them big ass motherfucking paws in his face.
Completely disregarding all the facts of the case. But don't let me interfere. Continue.
You should have taught your sons to go get a motherfucking adult like we know how to do. But that was in his motherfucking face. You know, get the...
So I speak black, leftist, racist. So if someone gets in your face, that's, well, it's okay to kill them, I guess. I mean, am I missing the point here? Is that not what she's saying? It seems to me.
Murder on somebody's child, because that could have been your motherfucking son. That could have been anybody's motherfucking son.
Yeah, it could have been anybody's son, except Carmelo Anthony is still alive, and Austin Metcalf, conveniently forgotten, is dead.
35 motherfucking years. Mother to motherfucking mother. You should have said, don't give that man no motherfucking mess. They said 5 to 99.
Okay, I think I've had enough of this bent because there's so much more to display and go into. And I got about 12 more minutes. Yeah, I can make it. At first, mistakenly, I thought to myself, BZ, after having rewritten and not rewritten, I don't write this show, but after having ripped everything apart on the previous iteration of the show and decided that I was going to go here tonight, after this, I thought, will I really have enough material to justify even an hour? Okay. If you know me, you also know that, geez, BZ, you're out of it. What the hell were you thinking? And the answer is, I wasn't thinking. Oh, by the way, this is great. You guys are going to enjoy this. Okay. So not only did all the racist pimps show up in Collin County outside the courthouse, but guess who else bestowed their beloved presence upon it? Oh, that's right. The Black Panthers. If I was about to say something where I could get in really big trouble. Do I say it? Let me hold off on that. Just for a second, because when I say it, if I say it, you guys are going to go, oh yeah, but hey, look, I'm going to play a video of the Black Panthers reacting to Carmelo Anthony being convicted of murder. Now, when I play this, something might stick out to you. And was it that upon which I might be interested in commenting upon? Well, let's play it. It's about 1.5 minutes. Go.
A white boy been before an all-black jury. Tell us, media. Tell us, white folks. When there's a white boy been before an all-black jury? Never.
How's it murder?
You know why? You know why? Because you know what? Whatever the verdict is, he got justice. Because he got to go before a jury.
Okay, let me stop right there. See the little patch on the front? She's a Black Panther. See the little patch on his shirt? He's a Black Panther. So the Black Panthers decided they were going to show up. See the guy to the left over there? He's a Black Panther too. Now, look, make an observation about him. What do you see, kids? Let's see. I see 2 magazines. Anything else? I wonder what's on the other side. Hey, though, kids, folks, it's Tejas.
6, a 12, instead of being buried by 6. We got to stand up. We're going to keep, that's right. You know what? Let this be the mark in the sand. Exactly. Come on,
let this be a mark in the sand. Now, when I hear things like this, but wait, there's more. When I hear things like this, because I do speak leftist, and frequently I speak black leftist racist, like these assholes, and the only interpretation I can come up with is, excuse me, I got to wonder, are you calling for a race war? It's just me, right?
See, right. This is a war. This is a war.
Oh, gee. Didn't I just say that? And now this chunk is saying it's a war. Huh.
This is a war. And it's been going on. This war been going on. They never stop being racist.
Okay, you can see where this is heading. You can see where it's going. You can see what I'm saying. You can hear what I'm saying. You can witness it all yourself. I'm going to display more because I want you guys to understand and have access and see all the videos that mostly no one on the American media maggot side is showing you or displaying to you. But I will, because I have no issue with that, no problem with that. Those were the Black Panthers. They don't advocate for just blacks, do they? They don't advocate for whites. Oh, come on now. No. Let me go back up to comments. Boy, do you know that can be fined for wasting Kettle One? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I miss that one. He's a criminal himself, by the way. Yep. A network of one. And also Mission Ready Men, who has a fabulous show on before mine on Tuesday and Thursday nights, said he's a race hustling grifter and a domestic abuser and a criminal. So, and again, Mission Ready Men says, I could barely understand her. You know what? But I got the gist of what she was saying. And also another rather salient comment. Kimberly Highsmith, welcome. Thanks for being here in chat. Hey, here's a really weird, bizarre odd but salient comment that she makes. Wow. Don't bring the weapon. Don't use the weapon. And you won't be in jail. Oh, man. That's such a weird-ass comment. That's a weird-ass comment. I'm going to play another one. It's like being on Jeopardy and saying something similar to, okay, here's a new category. I'll take how racist blacks try to start a race war for 500, Alex. Go.
To protect black people. Anytime a white man or a white child can go and put their hands aggressively on anybody and something like this.
Aggressively. Well, depending on who you believe in the courtroom, he ranged from touched to shoved. But apparently with these people, and I mean these people, BZ, when you say these people, who are you talking about? Leftist, racist, blacks like her. In case you didn't get my drift, that's justification for murder. That's what you're dealing with today.
It's self-defense. It's self-defense. You put your hand on me and see how I respond.
Sure. You put your hand on me and see how I'll respond. Now, the big question, of course, will be what happens in the future beyond this. So I'm going to throw this out for you guys. I'm thinking this is a kind of a one-off. I'm not seeing a George Floyd thing. I'm seeing a Collin County thing. But do I necessarily have the finger on the pulse of the United Snakes of America? Of course not. This is local, regional outrage. And I suspect it will stay local and stay regional because what this stupid racist bint is saying is so beyond the norm for most people.
What will the Anthony family do? What will the Anthony family? What will the people that's standing behind the Anthony family do? That's the question you should ask. We're going to stand behind them and we're going to fight.
So, I was going to bring up another point, and I have a couple of more minutes before the top of the hour break. And to everyone who is here tonight, I really appreciate your being present. And Texas Jane says, yeah, well, you know what? No matter what, either way, it doesn't warrant killing somebody. Hello, facts in evidence. Very true. And sometimes we just have to state the facts that are in evidence. But when we come back after the break, I must say up front that I am clearly, obviously, not familiar with the ways and the means of Texas law. But I have a question. By the way, did you notice that I diverted you away from the comment that I was going to make? And I may have saved my podcast by not making that comment. I'm sorry. This is one of those times where I'm killing myself. A lot of leftists are thinking, damn, BC, go for it, mister. But when I come back, there will be more about Carmelo Anthony and Collin County and what occurred today. And then I'm going to ask a question, which, I don't know, I'm wondering why people aren't asking this, but I pose it, as I said before, in terms of I'm not really familiar with how Texas law works. Well, ladles and gentle Ben, boys and girls, childrenibus of all ages, I'm BZ. I'll be right back. You got a winkle? Do it now.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Mission log entry. I mean, let's face it, who's even counting anymore? The Lost Wanderer is officially off course, chasing rogue rocket launches, fringe science, and things that probably violate causality. If it burns fuel, bends time, or makes scientists very uncomfortable, yeah, I'm probably going to talk about it. Every other Sunday on KLRN Radio, The Lost Wanderer, because space doesn't come with a roadmap, and honestly, I wouldn't follow if it did.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? You need to check out Mission Ready Men via Earl Big E Jackson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noon Eastern. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's the beginning of the second hour, hour 2, right here in the Saloon. If you're in the Saloon, perhaps you should be imbibing. It's called the Saloon. Hello. And if you would, subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel. And also, if you go to 7 Armors, and if you rewind the whole thing at the beginning of the show, I showed you and I told you where you can get a cool hat like this for our 250th anniversary. About to make a point. Now, is that not a cool hat? And the answer is, of course, that's a cool hat. But the other answer is, we are still dealing with this crap of people to whom the law is immaterial on our 250th anniversary of this nation, the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And we're still having to put up with all this racist bullshit. Now, is there white racism? Of course. I don't think anybody has ever denied that. And with the white cop, can't think of the names, it occurred at least 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 years ago. There was video of a white cop, and maybe somebody in chat can tell me who this was or where it was. All I remember is looking at the video. The cop is on the right-hand side of the screen. It's a patrol officer chasing a black guy, I think at a park on a sidewalk. The black dude is running away from him And the cop shoots him in the back, I think, and kills him. And he was some distance away from the cop. And guess what? That cop was found guilty of murder and sent away. And to that I say, yay. Something like that? Hell yeah. Zero excuse. I mean, I have my theories, which I believe are proven correct as to why that kind of stuff happens. And it has zero to do with race. And maybe sometime I'll do a show on that, because I have 41 plus years of copdom under my belt. And I was always, when I was in copdom for 4 different agencies, 2 federal, I was always in some fashion involved in training. And I was lucky enough to be involved in the 2 aspects that are the most critical in all of law enforcement: cars and guns, guns and cars. I was the range master for my 3,000 plus deputy department. And I was also the EVOC supervisor under a program that I wrote, and under whose pursuit guidelines in Lewis v. Sacramento went up to the Supreme Court in 1998. And my guidelines and my pursuit policy was upheld by SCOTUS. So I was always involved in training. And someday I'll tell you why a lot of this crap happens. Hey, I wonder if it's about training. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back and let me refresh, if I may. There's a guy at Carmelo Anthony's murder trial saying the only good cracker is a dead cracker, and that he'll push a cracker into the grave is a guy by the name of Jacob Blake of Kenosha, Wisconsin. And this dude has a massive history of anti-white and anti-Semitic, anti-white and anti-Semitic both together statements on social media. So let's see, do I have this guy? No, I don't have his video. Damn it, Jim. Okay. Anyway, but that's just one of a legion of comments that occurred. Now, up to this point, and it's taken me over an hour to get here, and would it shock you, with all the things that I have up here, all the tabs that are staring me dead in the gesicht, I'm not going to get to but a fraction of them, because that's how the fat dude, the bulbous one, rolls. Literally, I mean, rolls. So would it shock you that even though these insensate racists, stupid as they are, and did you notice, by the way, from the very beginning of the show, the qualifier? And the qualifier is black racists. Oh, black leftist racists. BZ, because people that don't listen, even though I'm mostly deaf, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Yeah, you mostly don't care. And I don't care that you don't care. Go get your own show. That is some funny shite right there. But would you be surprised to know that there are other people of the same or like paint job as Carmelo Anthony that are saying things that, wait a minute, is this true? So there's a guy by the name of John Gould, and he wrote, and he doesn't have video, I'm just going to read it. He said, you know what, if a white teenager had brought a knife to a school event, escalated a confrontation, and fatally stabbed a black teenager in the heart, there would be nonstop media coverage. Absolutely. Protests, public outrage, demands for accountability. There would be no shortage of people calling it evidence of racism and demanding justice. But when the races are reversed, suddenly we're told to ignore the obvious, suspend judgment, and accept every excuse offered in the defense of the person who did the stabbing. Now, that's from that one particular person. It shouldn't shock you to know that, BZ, I do have video of other people who are black, because race matters to leftists, who are conservatives and are not hooking their wagon to that racist star.
Only black people are at the point where they will feel sorry for the criminal and the murderer more than the actual person who's not with us anymore.
Thank you.
The actual victim, they don't care about. Everyone feels sorry for this little monster. I never felt comfortable around you niggas. That's why I got the hell away from y'all. Y'all think this is a game. Like, oh, you're just saying this for likes and clicks. No, I'm not even near you niggas. My kids don't go to school with you niggas. This ain't for likes. This is for real. Like growing up, when my friends would come over, hey, my dad would check them at the door. Listen, man, you got to take that do-rag off. This do-rag ain't allowed here. My dad didn't like do-rags because he watches the news. He see who's doing the killing. Take that do-rag off before you come over. And that's all. Like, and you know, when I was a kid, I didn't understand. I'm like, why is dad like this? What's going on with dad, Mom? Why is he tripping? Why is he embarrassing me? My mom sat me down, told me a story. Listen, your dad's seen a lot of things. What do you mean, Mom? What happened? You know, I never told you this, and don't tell your father I told you, but when we were young, you know, we used to party at your dad's house, you know, when we were 16, and his brother had just come home from the military. His brother was older, you know, your father looked up to him. He was kind of the protector of the home. Everybody loved him. He was just a great guy. Just came home from the military. You know, and they threw a party for him. Celebrating, everybody celebrating downstairs. What happens? A knock on the door. My father's brother goes up the stairs, opens the door. What is it? A bunch of monsters. You know, do-rag wearing monsters. Yo, we want to come to the party. My father's brother tells him, no, you're not allowed. Nobody else is allowed. We're going to just keep having this party and you guys are going to leave. What do they do? Oh, yeah? Put a gun to his head, shoot him in the head. He fall down the stairs, dies in front of my dad. My dad is traumatized by y'all. From that moment, man, he just didn't want nothing to do with you. He stayed in Brooklyn a little longer, seen more things happen, and then he got to them books. Yo, I got to get out of here. I cannot raise a family here. It's not safe. It's a reason why people want to get away from y'all. You have an animalistic monster mentality. Nobody wants to be around. Shoot first, ask questions later. That's how y'all move. Y'all don't even fight no more. Ain't no hands, one-on-ones. Y'all just go straight to killing. Obviously, it's not all black people. There's a lot of good black people out here. There's a lot of monsters as well. And it's not hard to tell who's who. And that is exactly why Austin Metcalf didn't want that boy around. He was right.
Anybody besides me think it took a lot of courage for that guy to say those things? And that is why I make a strict delineation between leftist, racist blacks, because there is a shit ton of them. And I may steal that guy's word. I use the word thug, say, for George Floyd. He was a thug. I might steal monster. That's not bad, because that's what leftist black racists are. They're monsters. Here's another gentleman.
So Carmelo Anthony gets found guilty of ending the life of Austin Metcalf, and people out there, full-grown human adults, are actually upset because they were supporting him and because the color of his skin matched theirs. And they expect that people like myself will also take up for him. I'll be the first to tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. I will never stand with those kinds of people. And
what's wrong with this guy? You're expected to get in line. Or as Biden said, you're not black.
Neither should you. See, all the BLM or this or that or diversity buzzwords, so on and so forth, it was never about that. It was always about black supremacy. You know it and I know it. Like, we're at a point now where individuals will literally crowdfund for someone who ended the life of someone else who honestly had no business bringing a knife to a track meet in the first place. But I digress. But this is the world we live in. And this kind of anger, this kind of vitriol can truly only come from this deep-seated hatred of white people. That really is what it boils down to. And the fact that people are upset that we got the accurate verdict handed down goes to show just how many people out there really do think that black people should be allowed to play by a different set of rules. And I will not stand with those kinds of people. There's plenty of people out there who are tired of seeing the way that many in the black community have been allowed to act for so long. And they're getting tired of it with
operative word right there, allowed.
Very, very good reason. I myself am one of them. So I am happy that we actually were able to get a guilty verdict. And I'm hopeful now that the sentencing portion will actually give him a punishment worthy of that crime. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you agree. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below.
And this is just to reaffirm to you that I make that strict designation between racist blacks, leftists, because not all blacks are racists. The leftist blacks are. But there are so many good blacks. And I got to mention black because that's critical to leftists and anarchists and communists. Absolute criticality. Here's another gentleman. Take it away.
Carmela Anthony found guilty. Why? Because he took the life of a young man. As I stated in my last video, when someone says something to hurt your feelings, does not give you the right to take that person's life. If someone pushes you, does not give you the right to take their life. If someone hits you, does not give you the right to take their life. If someone kicks you, if someone bumps into you, does not give you the right to take their life.
But stop. If you listened to my first hour, it was packed with nothing but people who absolutely believe that.
Plain and simple. I explained it before. I've gone out and I've talked to these radical leftist lunatic liberals all the time, and they've kicked me, punched me, hit me, pushed me. You think about it. Call me all these hateful, colorful names, and not a single time did I try to take their life. When you're at that point, the best thing you can do is walk away. He refused to walk away. I don't care that he was trying to get out of the rain. Leave. Leave. If you're so concerned about the rain, leave. Get out. There's so many lies, so many different stories about what actually happened under that tent, and nobody was there except for the people that were there. But everybody else got their own opinions about what happened. Now, with all of that said, Carmela Anthony found guilty. Gear up the riots. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. They're going to be.
Let me ask you, since I'm pausing right now, let me know in chat. Do you think it's coming? I think it's localized. I could be wrong. I don't think this rises to the level of George Floyd, because remember about what everything else was occurring in 2020. Everyone was on edge from Wuhan 19. Everyone. It was an insane year with more insanity. What do you think? Let me know in comments.
He's so mad because a young black man that took the life of a young white man who was playing victim was found guilty. The only reason why they wanted him off, because they in their minds, and it has happened, I'm gonna be honest with you, it has happened that in the past when someone white has taken somebody's life that was black, the white person was able to get off back in the day when the Democrats were running the system.
Stop. He said everything right there. Go, mister.
Putting many black people behind bars, but that's no longer the case. They wanted him off, even though they know he was guilty. They wanted him off simply because he was black, because of color. These people worship color. And now they're going to, of course, they're going to do an appeal on it. This was not
That's what I'm going to talk about in just a moment.
self-defense. This was not self-defense. People have broke my equipment. These liberals have broke my equipment. And not a single time have I ever tried to take their life. People need
Because it's stupid.
to be held responsible for their actions. And in this case, Camilla Anthony is being held responsible. Here come the rioting, just like clockwork. Hear me now, believe me later on.
Is that what you think? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% convinced. Let me go back and let me attempt to refresh some memories of some people. A few years ago, by this time, maybe 10 years ago, I was a big fan of Hugh Hewitt on Salem Broadcasting. And the reason I was is because I knew all the people that were called the Tribbles in the chat room. Great people from Hugh Hewitt. Hugh Hewitt was a conservative / moderate. And he truly tried to be a moderate. He was in Southern California in Los Angeles. Went down to LA and met him in Disneyland. Good guy, taller than me, but who isn't? And then he left because he decided that he wanted to take his show to DC in order to be closer to the people that were making news. Okay, cool. I knew his producer. I had his producer on my show probably 4 or 5 years ago. I should actually have him back on again. Dude was super cool. But then somebody had to replace Hugh Hewitt. That was Larry Elder. You know what? When Larry Elder came on before his run for Califalia governor, I listened to Larry Elder's show with every bit as paying attention to him. I believed, well, let me just say it this way. I liked Larry Elder better than I liked Hugh Hewitt. And there's nothing wrong with Hugh Hewitt. Betrayer. Left Southern California to go to DC. But I didn't know who Larry Elder was. Great dude, super dude. Black guy, couldn't care less. Very intelligent. If we spoke to Larry Elder at Freedom Fest, myself and Sackhead Sean, in 2017 at Freedom Fest, Larry Elder is one of those guys when you're talking to him, and I'm sure you all know people like this. Dude was A, whip smart, B, thought on his feet, 10 sentences ahead of you, and 10 sentences ahead of him. Just was, oh my gosh, fast, intelligent, great guy. I bring this up because Larry Elder, and I'm going to play a video of his in a moment. That should probably take it down to the bottom of the hour break. Larry Elder said many years ago, 3 things. You know what you need? To avoid poverty, Larry Elder said. You need these 3 things. Number 1, finish high school. 2, don't have a child before 20. 3, get married before having a child. And so, if you remember about Larry Elder, people labeled him the black face of white supremacy. So, you folks riddle for me what part of what I just told you that Larry Elder said fits into the institutional schema of systemic and structural racism. And what is it about that blacks, because it's all about race, what is it about that blacks can't follow? It just, stuff like that just absolutely befuddles me. And Larry Elder, he always talks about his dad. I think I'm going to have enough time to play this, and I think it's worth playing. Let's start.
some big problems, the bad. He's outlined some of the good solutions, and he's got a few more. And then I want to get your vision. So, Larry, what are some other solutions that we should put in place now?
Well, we need to do something about the runaway spending here. Both sides do it. Democrats do it. Republicans do it. I remember when Ronald Reagan ran in 1980, Kevin, he promised to shut down the Department of Education. When he left, the Department of Education was bigger than before. You know, once a government program has started.
Okay, stop. I didn't get this queued up to the right point. Let me wipe this out of existence. It's like it didn't even exist and you didn't even see it. Let me then go to this. And I think this will take us roughly to the bottom of the hour. You know who quotes stats? Racists quote stats. You know, like white racists, black racists. Because you're not forthcoming with the emotions. You're not an emo, or you're not a racist. So a guy named Kevin Bass says, basically, the DOJ publishes a report. And by the way, some of this stuff is really difficult to find. You know, parenthesis, intentional, end of parenthesis. So last year, DOJ published a report, and I will pull out the important portions of this. And then when I come back, I see there's a bunch of comments up in chat. I'll get to those. So for every 10,000 blacks, 153 violent crimes are committed by a black person each year against a white person. DOJ report. My guess is it probably wasn't the Trump DOJ, but I digress. The same figure for violent crimes committed by whites against a black person, 3.4. So if you do the numbers, it looks like a black person is 50 times more likely to commit a violent crime against a white person than a white person to commit a violent crime against a black person. This is a massive difference in the rates of violence committed between these two groups. But we are told, it's insisted that you recognize and admit that whites are systemically racist. We're told that whites are successful only because they oppress others. Halt just for a moment. Talk to the hand. As I go back, by the way, Muslims are great slave drivers today in 2026. But let's go back to the sense of business, which no one seems to be interested in examining. Because let's go back to Africa. Let's go back to slavers. Let's go back to slaves. Who were the slavers in Africa who were staying there and living there? Well, it wasn't the whites. It was blacks. So blacks were sold into slavery. There's no disputation about that at all. But for every buyer, there needs to be a seller. And whites weren't selling blacks into slavery in Africa. That's weird. Okay. Western civilization has been successful not because it was inherently oppressive. No nation, no civilization is perfect. Everyone admits that. It's been successful because whites in many places created and started thousands of years ago systems that try to at least be impartial and fair, because otherwise you have a system that just fails on its face. And these systems today are being dismantled with intent. Criminals are being released into communities, documented criminals, multiple times, and illegal invaders for that matter. They're being released into their community because of their skin color. Law-abiding citizens are punished because of theirs. And yet, simultaneously, the other people affected, because leftists are all about the paint job, the other people that no one mentions who are affected directly by this are Black Americans, predominantly in leftist urban rat cages. All you had to do is go to basically any meeting in Chicago with King racist Mayor Brandon Johnson and watch the black citizens question him, then he'll cut them off at the knees. Why are you favoring illegal invaders over us, actual Americans, actual citizens in the city of Chicago? All of this is in service of an ideology that is just, it's fundamentally false. It's fundamentally evil. Stupid. Put in every adjective you can think of. Everybody suffers from this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. You have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name is Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right, you can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else that just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm BZ. It's the final half hour. It's the final 24 minutes of the show. Wow, the chat room has been raucous and rollicking and rolling and breaking till the break of dawn. Folks, subscribe if you would to the SHR Media YouTube channel. We're at 1,570 plus subscribers. You can subscribe too. I make this very important notation that with each subscription, I get a choice. I get to choose an arboreal animal of my choice. I get to choose maybe a porcelain Dalmatian, more cat food, maybe the kitty food that comes in the small little containers for the dainty cats, for their pushed in noses, those little dainty cats. Or I get a timing chain from a 1979 Peterbilt 359. That's always an option. Blinker fluid. I'm always running low on blinker fluid. Who isn't these days? And more vodka. BZ always opts for more vodka, even though the vodka I drink is not Russian in nature, which is so weird. I drink Kettle One exclusively, and it's not Norwegian. Sweden? Weird. Okay. I should know. I drink this stuff. Good God, mister. Anyway, thanks to everybody for being here tonight. I didn't think I was going to make a 1 hour show. I didn't think I was going to make an hour and a half show. I'm going to be able to make a full 2 hour show. Because I look up here to my right and I've got so many tabs in front of me. Where do I start? Well, how about if I start here? So this is good old Steve. And Steve got steamrollered. So people are concerned, this is from Red State, about how, Steve Hilton, by the way, if you didn't know, people have been concerned about, well, how are elections truly being handled in California? And my immediate response, because I used to live there until 2022, was poorly. And elections were handled in, how do you possibly think that they Democrats got just a majority, but a super majority in the assembly downtown in Sacramento, the locus of evil on the entire left coast? Because that's the Bill Mill. That's where all that crap comes from. So this article from Red State indicates, you know what? There is some potential good news on the California front. So they called, and let me see, this is back in June 8th. yesterday. They said that the second spot in the California governor's race has been called for Hilton. Well, now let's not be hasty, right? Because that may or may not be true. Because it's a jungle, it's a jungle out there. And it's a jungle primary in Califailure. And so the first two tippy tops, they're going to run against each other. It doesn't matter whose side you're on. It doesn't matter if you're rat or if you're Rican or anything like that. So people are saying, okay, well, Steve Hilton may not be entirely out of the mix just yet. And then on the other hand, people are saying that, you know what? How do we handle in Califailure the issue of voter fraud? Because leftists, of course, would say with great honesty and in their own little fetid knurled brains that, well, there is no election issue. There are no election problems. And well, I may or may not play the whole thing, but let's listen to Larry O'Connor. And he's going to talk about this just for a few minutes.
The real scandal coming out of California right now is quite possibly every single thing we are seeing transpire before our very eyes is 100% legal. And that's the real scandal.
Thank you. Thank you. How did it get to be legal? Why, yes, by scams and stupid people. Go.
Just let me thumbnail it for you, because this is the system that Kristen Welker is defending and making excuses for, and everyone else in the media. They're all seeing it, and any reasonable human being can witness this and say, well, that's ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and it's outrageous, and this is how you would steal an election. But just be clear, you can steal something and not break the law. That's what's happening here.
Stop. Again, I've said it before, but I'm forced to say it again. Look up these two concepts. There's malum in se and malum prohibitum. And my life revolves around that. Malum in se is bad and or evil on its face. That is to say, you could display something to the average, if there is such a thing anymore, American and say, do you not get the concept that this is fundamentally bad in and of itself? Most people would recognize something that is malum in se. Malum prohibitum is a concept that is fluctuous. It changes all the time. And malum prohibitum says that, well, it's not fundamentally bad or evil on its face. It's bad because some portion of the law has said it's bad. Maybe it's not so bad. It's bad in this state. It's not bad in this state. It's bad in this town. It's proscribed in this town. And so it goes. I'm sure you grok the concept of the two. Continue.
They are stealing it without actually breaking the law.
The law. Malum prohibitum.
This is the election system in California as we speak. Anybody who is a registered voter gets a ballot mailed to them. And you register to vote because you walk into a DMV and you automatically get registered no matter what.
That's the point.
You have any interaction with the DMV. And as you know, California leads the nation in giving for giving driver's licenses and registrations to illegal immigrants.
And also commercial drivers who can't read English, who in Califailure and other places kill other drivers because they don't speak English and they don't understand signs, ...
who are in the country illegally, and they're getting commercial driver's license in California right now. And when you go through the process, they register you to vote. And there is no check for citizenship. There is no check for ID. There's no check for anything.
Again, I tell you, that's the point.
And they'll register you to vote, and you're on the voter rolls. And by their own admission, because they have said this in lawsuits and settlements with Judicial Watch, that they have not cleaned up their voter rolls, even though federal law says you must, in years, in decades. I have not lived in Los Angeles County since 2012. So I'm now in my 15th year outside of Los Angeles County, and I still get emails from the LA County registrars letting me know that my ballot has been mailed to me.
Stop. Well, let me make this point, if I may. Maybe you know where the election offices are located in your county or your town. And maybe you drive by them on a semi-regular basis, and maybe that's where you go to vote. Maybe it's another building someplace else. But don't you wonder every once in a while, look, it's the election building. Well, we're not having an election today. So what the hell are you doing in there? What are you getting paid for? One of the things you should be getting paid for is taking dead people off the rolls, spiffying up the rolls, making sure that they're lawful and they're accurate. And there are no people on said rolls who shouldn't be there. They're not even interested in doing that.
I don't know who's got it. Whatever address I used to live in has the Lawrence O'Connor ballot, and I'd love to know if I voted. I probably have, without anyone knowing it. Not only does every single person get a live legal ballot mailed to them, regardless of whether they should be getting one or not, but in California, individuals can go and collect ballots from anyone. They can go and knock on the doors and say, hey, give me your ballot. I'll take care of it for you.
You know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, take care of it. Air quotes. Let me take care of your ballot, because I would love to take care of your ballot. I wonder who takes care of your ballot. I would love to take care of your ballot. Here's something else. I got about 13 minutes. I can make it. Again, thanks to everybody. Okay, I'm going back to chat. Let me put this up. Imagine defending a murderer. Thanks, Rick. That's been up enough. And this, white liberals are the literal worst people on earth. Can't say as I disagree that much. Thanks, Shizzle. And Quantum Twist. My, that's convoluted, that twist. Because California is a complete shit state. Okay, haven't done this for a comment in quite some time. Nicely played. Let us continue with this that I found today. Very strange. From Red State. Spencer Pratt is still in the fight. And he'll do more than get by with a lot of help from his friends. Oh, wait a minute now. How can this possibly be? Okay. So Sunday. Today being Tuesday, June 9th, the year of our Lord 2026. And thanks for tuning in. As Red State said on Sunday, so Nitya Raman pulled ahead of Spencer Pratt. And this is a point that I should care to show everyone here. Let me focus like a laser beam in on this. Oh, wait, no, let me back up. Get away with that shirt. 2 1.4 million ballots are still out left to count. Still some in LA, still some in Riverside, still some in San Diego, still some in Sacramento, Orange, San Francisco, and Alameda. Okay, so maybe Spencer's dead. Maybe he isn't. But we don't really know. People think they know. But hey, just wait. Here's the deal with Califailure. And the reason it takes so long to count ballots is when you have 2 or 3 people in the running, you have to be able to know what the as accurate as possible, what the tally is for, I don't know, say Karen Bass. And then you have to know kind of sort of how many are in the mix for Top Ramen. That's how you know how many ballots to manufacture, because it takes a while to print all those things up and sign them and then ship them in. You got to know how many ballots to just kind of eke ahead of, say, Spencer Pratt, to push him to the side. So, hey, plus there's also this. Anybody remember that Top Ramen conceded? Wait a minute. So Top Ramen sobbed and she conceded the race. Shall I remind everybody that she polled in the single digits and bombed in the debate, and basically an historically insurmountable third place, except that was before De Los Machine took over.
Nan Kaveri, I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
Oh, bye-bye. Except the machine wasn't done. So as Boyd mentions, hey, Top Ramen got a 47,000 ballot dump. Out of where? Out of, my favorite alien planet, Zephron. The Zephronese came in and beamed all those ballots in. EOD operator. ABZ. Hey, EOD. Good to see you tonight, sir. 100% went to her. But, this is so weird. Not one of those went to Bass or Platt. How does that happen? Mon Dieu, it's impossible. Not necessarily. Not if you're Califailure. Okay, so let's continue with a few more things here that I'd care to point out. So this comes, this is EOD operator. Yeah, it's called fraud. Yep, it is. And with luck, James says there's no way feds aren't on to this. I think you're giving perhaps a bit too much credence to the feds. Because if you're, you may not know. I used to be one a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But Latinos for Pratt make an interesting point here. And I'm going to have to kind of read it to you because the words, especially if you're watching in portrait format, and it's a challenge even in landscape format, but especially in portrait, because the letters are really tiny, really small. This is Latinos for Pratt. Every legitimate vote in LA deserves to count, but a broken system dilutes our community's voice. Latinos por Pratt is launching a data-driven election audit of the June 2nd mayoral primary. We aren't waiting for certification. We are building the legal case now. And as I've said for quite some time, and I point this out now, you can find all the articles and the videos that I use on the show on Rumble, on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, on Rumble. You'll have to go to Rumble because on YouTube, I don't have the ability to put all the links to the show, but I recommend the links will be in Rumble. Go to this one, go to this link, Latinos por Prat, and read it at your leisure. They make some really great points. And they're building the legal case right now, as in something, geez, this is from a play. I think it's if I'm not mistaken, a Shakespeare play. I think so. Something is rotten in Denmark. Because it is. Also, this is a minute and a half of Spencer Pratt himself making what I consider to be a really interesting statement. So someone in some sort of an official capacity in California got a hold of Spencer Pratt and said something. Well, I don't want to put words in the mouth of Spencer Pratt. Let's have him talk about it right now.
A CHP officer informed me that Gavin Newsom gave direct orders to give Palisades fire victims as many tickets as possible when they were returning to their burnt-out homes. That's right. After he let the Palisades burn to the ground, when only Malibu and Palisades residents were allowed to drive on PCH to go survey the heaping ash piles where their homes used to be, everyone was getting boatloads of tickets for every tiny little dubious infraction. Well, now we know it was deliberate, as if Gavin Newsom didn't do enough to terrorize this community. Now he's ordering his officers to punish us with traffic tickets. Or maybe he's just that desperate to fill the $18 billion deficit in his budget. He figured he'd milk us for everything we had. And did Karen Bass have our backs? Of course not. Great job sticking up for your constituents, Karen. But
see, this is the whole thing of Pratt. And whether you like him, he was I don't even know the guy until he came to the forefront in terms of running for mayor. He's some reality show. I don't care. This guy meant nothing to me. No, he was on TV. Okay. Whoopee-doo. Couldn't care less. Didn't know who he was. Didn't care. But you've gored his ox now. And you've gored the oxen of a lot of other people. Not in passing. Oh, I didn't really mean to do it. But with great intent. And now you've created your own worst enemy. So how do you think this is going to shake out? My guess is that it'll shake out in terms of Pratt's going to try, Latinos por Pratt are going to try, and like most everything else, the deep state will interfere, because the deep state are the people that actually run whatever applicable bureaucratic nodule is involved. With a caveat, with one important, I think, caveat. And that is, now he's a name. So if anybody thinks that Spencer Pratt is going to be going away, and I'm sure there are lots of leftists and communists, because Karen Bass is a communist, literally a communist. If you think Spencer Pratt is going away, I don't think that's going to happen. Because now for the people that weren't familiar with him, now they are. And I think he'll be back. Or he'll potentially be running for another seat. Okay, folks, that's it. Cut to the chase. This was not your father's show. This was not the show that I planned to be doing at noon or 4 o'clock. A lot of things occurred in the interim. And like I said earlier, 2026 is like, the weirdest, strangest version of this. And I have to say that, where is this coming from? Don't you feel like that? Don't you think, what the hair is going on in my area, my neighborhood, my state, my town? And then so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on Rumble, the SHR Media YouTube channel, X, KLRN, and all sorts of tons of other grandiose and bulbous podcast locations. Promotional consideration is, of course, by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, the people whose mics I use, by the Arrakis company that manufacture my mixer, also by the Pratt & Whitney Engine Company manufacturing dependable engines yielding thrust you can trust. Tiaras, as I indicated at the beginning of the show, I'll do it again, are by My Little Pony. This is a great hat, a great 250 hat. Look. You need one, 7armors.com. Also, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be concerting in less than 10 minutes. Thanks to everybody for being here tonight. I will be back Thursday, with Earl preceding me. God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Quiet down now and get some sleep. Good night, everybody. Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben. Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy. Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Tim Bob. Good night, Tim Bob. Good night, Tim Bob. What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing? Good night. Good night, Tim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.
And remember, kids, remember everybody. Remember your best friends. Good dog, Jake. You're a great dog.